I suppose it is the human condition to search for meaning in the trivial moments, to ponder and to write, to have some voice in the back of our brains screaming, "This! Pay attention, it means something." When I'm feeling especially writerly, I compose stanzas in my head, wrestle with which comes first, how to weave moments, play with words and thought. First, I hope my poem might be about this moment. A hard frost came last Saturday. I don't really know what that means, but my tomato plants died. I moored them with one last salsa. Or maybe about this moment. On Tuesday, the humidity clung to my arm hairs, and I swear a ladybug bit me. But the warmth of the porch on the last beckoning day of fall outweighs the sting of the bite. I stayed on that porch surrounded by my slowly dying garden and read an article about some guy's dog, how he lost his most valued friend but eventually opened up to another. I didn't expect a Vogue article to make me weep openly as I watched my own 3 furry friends scuttle around the porch. But the article said, "The heart is large enough to accommodate both joy and sorrow at the same time." Frankly, I'm not sure I knew that, always believing that I must choose one over the other to consume me at any moment in time. I thought about how I used to love fall, but lately my appreciation for the dying of things has become less and less. The idea that feelings of spring could embrace me in the coming winter, it pulled at my insides. But I pushed away the thoughts, as writers often do, and found myself instead writing snippets about other things heavy on my mind. The seasons of all of us, and I wrote these. Sometimes, after midnight, I'm tired of it all. An avalanche of words, and I think I will be trapped with nothing to do for a long time but listen. I come from a long line of anxiety-ridden bodies. We don't talk about it. But on nights when whispers tingle up my legs and my skin pulses, I ponder if the entire family is lying in different beds across town, tingling in unison. I took a mass of stanzas to a writing retreat, seeking feedback on my different projects. Caroline said, "Aren't all of these stanzas about the same thing? About dark and light and death and anxiety and joy and sorrow and regret and identity and frost and mourning and mistakes and just trying to feel whole? Couldn't that be one poem? Tell us how to be whole, Tracy. A little bit of all these parts, but just not solely defined by any?" A tall order indeed. So I walked away from the writing for a while because, well, life. I also needed time to percolate. How do we make a marriage of all of these feelings, these identities, instead of just being one of them? How do we accept that we will feel dark in our life every day, but that it doesn't overshadow the light? That it's just who we are, and maybe there's some beauty in that we all must struggle to see. Then, out of nowhere, June 11th was looming. Deadlines mean you can't think anymore. You just have to write the piece begging to be written, even though you feel it's not ready to be read. And Sue said, "It's an essay." And John said, "Think about sight." And that podcast said, "Don't forget the gold fixing the cracks thing." And Lisa said, "Yes, perfectly imperfect." I wrote more stanzas, tried to weave more moments. You can only see when it's light enough. A vital sense that is dependent upon an environment seems a strange realization. Maybe that is what keeps the dark hidden within. I imagine shining a flashlight down each throat, inspecting. What deep, dark cracks keep my niece from leaving the house, my mother fueled with remorse, multiple occasions where one of us is missing and no one asks why. Honestly, I'm just kind of tired. Tired of being a little angry, a little confused, a little over it, a little too dark on some days, and constantly trying to identify and label the struggles of others. And then, I'm having that brain moment that says, this writing, it's the thing to pay attention to. It means something. I'm telling myself what to work on. I get to choose the light in which I will see myself, in which I will see others. I read a little more about that Japanese philosophy of wabi-sabi, embracing the flawed or imperfect, and Wikipedia led me to the practice of kintsugi. Kintsugi is the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery with lacquer mixed with powdered gold. As a philosophy, it treats breakage and repair as part of the history of an object, rather than something to disguise, highlighting the cracks and repairs as simply an event in the life of an object, rather than allowing its service to end at the time of its damage or breakage. Not only is there no attempt to hide the damage, but the repair is literally illuminated, a kind of physical expression of the spirit. Existence over time, to which all humans are susceptible, could not be clearer than in the breaks, the knocks, and the shattering to which we are subject. But I still don't quite have that poem finished, so we're just going to call this an essay.